Dear class 8 children, we'll continue chapter number 7, that is the nervous system. Okay, we had just started this chapter number 7 before Dasara break itself, when we had just discussed the neuron or nerve cell, which is regarded to be the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Okay, so today in this session we'll try to we'll discuss about the nerve. Okay, nerve and the different types of terms, different biological terms related to this chapter 7, that is nervous system, and also we'll try to see the human brain. All right, so now we'll start with the nerve. Okay, nerve. Okay, so this nerve in Nepali is called naso or nasa, and it is a collection of the axon or the nerve fibers, you know, enclosed in a medullary sheath. What is axon? Let me tell you. See, this is the nerve cell. All right. So this is a nerve cell. This is the nerve cell which was discussed in the last session. All right. So this region is called cell body, and this region is called axon. Okay, which is also called nerve fiber. Okay, so when there are a number of axons or nerve fibers collected together and enclosed in a medullary sheath or enclosed in a cover, okay, then they form a nerve. That means nerve is a collection of number of axon or nerve fiber enclosed in a cover or in a medullary sheath. That is nerve. Okay, so this nerve is of 3 types. That means nerves can be seen in 3 types. They are sensory nerves, motor nerves, and third one is your mixed nerves. Okay, there are 3 types of nerves. They are sensory nerve, motor nerves, and mixed nerves. Okay, so sensory nerves. So sensory nerves are those nerves which carry the messages. Okay, which carry the messages from the sense organs to the central nervous system. So central nervous system here means your brain and spinal cord. Okay, that is your sensory nerves, which carry the impulses from the sense organs to the central nervous system. Okay, then we have next is your motor nerves. So motor nerves are those nerves which carry the messages from the central nervous system to the effector organs. So effector organs means out here the glands, okay, muscles are the organs which are effector organs. So your motor nerves carry the messages from the brain or the spinal cord or central nervous system to these effector organs, whereas the mixed nerves are those nerves which are formed of both sensory nerves and motor nerves. Okay, that means in the composition of these mixed nerves there are both the types of nerves, that is sensory nerves and motor nerves. Okay, so these are the 3 different kinds of nerves. Some of the biological terms out here related to this chapter. Okay, so before going into the chapter, we need to understand the meaning of these words also, meaning of these terms also. Okay, number 1, we have got stimulus. So stimulus means any change in the environment. Okay, any change in the environment that causes some change in the activity of your body. Okay, so when there is something, when you see something outside, then accordingly you act. Okay, so that means something that is there in the environment and that makes some changes in your activity is your stimulus. Okay, like pinch, like heat, okay, is the example of stimulus. All right, similarly we have response. So next is your response. Response means when you see such changes there in the environment, you know, you'll act something, okay, you'll do something, you'll make some changes in your activity, okay. So that activity, that action which you do against that stimulus is your response, okay. If someone is pinching you, okay, that pinch is the stimulus, whereas your, you know, scratching on that spot where the, you know, pinching was done, you know, that scratching is your response. If someone is calling you, okay, calling is the stimulus and your going there is your response, okay. Then impulse, impulse means is a wave of electrical disturbance, okay, that travels through the nerve, or the sensation, okay, the sensation after receiving the stimulus, you know, that will be changed once it is received by the, you know, nerve or the you know, nerve cells of that region of or of that, you know, sense organ. So that will be changed into an electrical wave, or that will be changed into the stimulation which, you know, which passes through the nerve, okay. So that is your impulse. That time it is called impulse, okay. It is a stimulation, okay. It is a, I mean, sensation, okay. It is a sensation passing through the nerve. It is your impulse. Then your receptors. So receptors means the, you know, sense organs which receive such, you know, stimuli, okay. The plural form of stimulus is stimuli. So receptors are those organs, means your sense organs which receive such stimuli, like your eyes, okay, like your nose, your ears, your what you call your skin. So they are all receptors, because the nerve cells present in those sense organs, you know, receive such stimuli. Then effectors. So effectors are those organs of the body which give the effect, which show the actions. For example, your muscles, your glands are the effectors. So these are the terms that you have to understand. Okay, now we'll see the nervous system, means your types of nervous system. Okay, types of nervous system. So there are three types of nervous system. They are central nervous system, okay, then peripheral nervous system, and third one is your autonomic nervous system. Okay, so central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomic nervous system. So central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. Okay, that is central nervous system. Then peripheral nervous system consists of the nerves passing to and from the central nervous system. Okay, passing to and from the central nervous system. And whereas the third one, that is our autonomic nervous system, consists of a pair of chain of ganglia. Here is a word called ganglia. Ganglia. Okay, is a plural form of ganglion, which means a mass of nerve cell. A mass of, a mass of nerve cell together when they are, knurled together. So that particular, structure of a mass of, nerve cell is called, ganglia. That means a pair of chain of ganglia and nerves controlling the vital, involuntary activities of the bodies. Okay, involuntary, activities of the internal organs. All right, for example, you see heartbeat. Okay, your peristaltic movement of alimentary canal, that means the undulating movement of your alimentary canal. Okay, because of which only the food can pass from, through the alimentary canal, from one part of the alimentary canal to the other part of the alimentary canal. So that movement of the alimentary canal is called peristalsis or peristaltic, movement of the alimentary canal. So, and also your respiratory system, movements. So these are all controlled by this autonomic nervous system. So these are the three types of nervous system. We'll see the brain, human brain. Okay, human brain, as I've already drawn out here, the human brain. All right, so human brain, in fact, actually is the in proportion to the size of the human being, or in proportion to the size of the body, the human brain is the largest brain among all other animals. Okay, it weighs about, when you weigh, you find 1.35 kg. Okay, and it constitutes 2% of the total weight of the body. Okay, 2% of the total weight of the body, which means if you are weighing 100 kg, your 2 kg will be your brain only. Okay, and 80% it is composed of water, and 25% of the total oxygen taken into the body is utilized here in the brain. Okay, it's very important part of the body. All right, then we'll see directly the parts of your brain. Okay, brain has got mainly 3 parts. So if you go into it in detail, you find so many things there. Okay, so your brain is actually enclosed in a brain box called cranium. Okay, your cranium, which is also called skull, inside which your brain is protected. Okay, and beside this, your brain is also covered by the 3-layered membrane. All right, which is called meninges. Okay, meninges. So it's called meninges. Meninges. So meninges, which means the covering of the brain, where 3 layers are there. First one is, dura mater. Second one is your arachnoid, and third one is pia mater, which is not there in your syllabus. But when you go to the higher class like 10, so there you have to learn about it in detail. Okay, so whatever it is, but the covering of the brain is called meninges. Sometimes what happens is that, your meninges, that your layer, that covering of the brain sometimes get infected. The inflammation of that meninges sometimes take place. So that particular problem is called meningitis. All right, then we'll go now into the brain, or the parts of brain. Parts of brain. So there are mainly 3 parts of the brain. Okay, number 1, cerebrum. This is called your cerebrum. All right, cerebrum. Please see the spelling, C-E-R-E-B-R-U-M, cerebrum. This largest portion from here to here, this big, is your cerebrum. Then second one is your cerebellum, this leafy structure, which you can see there in the book also. It may not be 100% the same as given there in the book, but in some other books you find the brain like this. Second one is your cerebellum. Cerebellum. Okay, and third one is your, here, this one, medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata. Okay, so these are the 3 main parts of the brain. Beside this, there you find the thalamus, okay, the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, pons varolii are also there, but mainly these 3 parts are the parts of the brain. Okay, so first let us talk about cerebrum. See, this is your cerebrum, the largest part of the brain. Okay, the largest part of the brain is your cerebrum. Okay, this is cerebrum, which is highly convoluted, where you find a lot of folds like that. Okay, folds like convoluted. All right, with lot of ridges here. And this cerebrum has got 2 equal halves, right half and left half. That means there are 2 equal halves, right half and the left half. So each half, here you see only 1 half. Okay, the other side is there. So this, each half is called cerebral hemisphere. See here, cerebral hemisphere. Okay, so internally this cerebral hemisphere, or the cerebrum as a whole, is hollow, is empty, but externally its walls have got 2 regions. Okay, it has got 2 regions, that is cortex region and medulla. So outer wall of this cerebral hemisphere is called cortex. Then outer and your inner wall of this cerebral hemisphere is called medulla. Alright, and this cortex, the outer wall of this cerebral hemisphere or cerebrum is made up of cell wall, cell body of the neuron. I've already drawn this. This is your neuron. Okay, neuron. This is called cell body. Okay, this region is called cell body. This region is called axon, which I had drawn before also. Before this also. See, this outer part of the cerebrum, which is called cortex, is formed of this region only of the nerves. So there are a number of nerve cells, okay, whose this cell body only will be there to constitute the outer part of this cerebral hemisphere. Okay, and this outer part of this cerebral hemisphere is grayish in color. They are, this is grayish in color. Okay, so that this is also called gray matter. Is also called what? Gray matter. It's also called what? Gray matter. Alright, then these folds which you see, number of folds, when you see there, the more the folds, the more brain cells will be there. That means if you have got the big head, and then in the big head the big brain, and in the big brain especially, if this cerebrum is big enough, that means there are number of folds, so many folds here, then obviously the cerebrum is very big enough. If the cerebrum is big, means there are many brain cells, there are many neurons or nerve cells constituting this cerebrum. So if you have got big cerebrum having number of nerve cells, then you are very much intelligent. That means this is mainly known for the intelligence. Okay, why we are intelligent, and what is the part mainly out in the brain responsible for our intelligence? This is the one. Okay, this is the one. Then internally, that means in the medulla region. Okay, in the medulla region of this cerebral hemisphere is formed of axon. Is formed of what? Axon, which is white in color. White in color. So that it is also called white matter. It's also called what? White matter. Okay, so this is how this your cerebral hemisphere or your cerebrum is composed. And the function, what is the function of this cerebral hemisphere? Your cerebrum, what is the function? The function of this one or your cerebrum is to act as a seat of intelligence, consciousness and willpower. Okay, you are intelligent is all because of the cerebrum. Your willpower is very strong, that's controlled by your cerebrum. That means the function of this cerebrum is to act as a seat or is a place of intelligence, consciousness and willpower. Okay, so that is very important. Next is your cerebellum. Here you see, just below this cerebrum, okay, just below the cerebrum at the base, we have a leafy structure. We have a leafy structure and a very small region called cerebellum. This small leafy structure which you see just below the cerebrum is called cerebellum. C-E-R-E-B-E-L-L-U-M, cerebellum. Okay, it is very small, so that it is also called little brain. Remember, the cerebellum is also called little brain. Little brain. Okay, so it also consists of both gray matter and white matter. Just now we discussed. Okay, so outer cortex of this cerebellum is formed of gray matter. Gray matter means cell body. Okay, cell body of the neuron is grayish in color, which is in the cortex of this one, and internally it is something like a branching tree where you find the axon. Okay, so that's the structure of the cerebellum. And function, what does it do? Why do we need? The function of the cerebellum is to maintain the balance of the body. I'm just standing here. You perhaps sitting quietly somewhere and watching this video. So that's a balance. So this balance is maintained by cerebellum. Beside this, this cerebellum also coordinates the muscular activities of the body. Though the masses of the muscular activities is formed there in the cerebrum, but it coordinates. Your cerebellum coordinates the muscular activities also, but importantly, it maintains the balance of the body. That's why sometimes you see the alcoholic people, when they drink alcohols, so that time this alcohol affects this cerebellum, so that the person who has taken a lot of alcohol loses balance, so that he goes left and right. He just sometimes falls, losing the balance. That's because of the effect of the alcohol in the cerebellum. Okay, then the other one is your medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata, that's the lowermost part of the brain. Lowermost part of the brain. Okay, below the skull, there you find medulla oblongata. That continues with the spinal cord here. This is spinal cord which you see. That is a continuous part of the medulla oblongata. That is medulla oblongata continues with the spinal cord here. Okay, and it looks like a triangular structure here. The function of this medulla oblongata is to control the involuntary activities of the internal organs. You see heartbeat. Okay, heartbeat, as I told you, respiratory movements, peristaltic movement of the alimentary canal. So these are all controlled by this medulla oblongata. Okay, then we have got here hypothalamus. These are the mainly three parts of the brain. Beside this, you find even hypothalamus here. Okay, thalamus here. Okay, pituitary gland. So all you see here, see this two cerebral hemispheres. As I told you before, your cerebrum is divided into halves, right and left. So this right and left cerebral hemisphere are connected by means of this seat, which is called corpus callosum. Okay, and its function is to convey the message from one cerebral hemisphere to other cerebral hemisphere. Just below that, there you find the thalamus here. Okay, so this thalamus is the part of the brain which actually supports the your motor and language system, the movement of the body and what you speak. Okay, so these are controlled by the thalamus. So that sometimes if this thalamus is damaged, then person or the people will go to permanent coma. Okay, you will be just simply respiring, no movement, no talking. So that will be seen. Then another one is a hypothalamus. Just below the thalamus there is hypothalamus, whose function is to coordinate or link the nervous system with your hormone system or your endocrine system. Okay, and pituitary gland, which you see outer, though it does not have that much role to play here in the nervous system, but this pituitary gland which you see outer is a gland that secretes hormone, which you have discussed in the previous chapter also. Okay, so that's all about your your brain. Okay, today we'll do only this much. Please draw this diagram and try to understand it. Thank you very much.